2 months shy of 4 years ago, I decided to cook my way through the entire Veganomicon cookbook and film it and have Luke edit it, all in 1 year. Well, he thought I was crazy, and he was right, because that didn't happen. But here we are, just slightly delayed, at our final episode of the Veganomicon series. Tonight, we're making 2 recipes, a tomato and roasted eggplant stew with chickpeas, and a soft poppy seed polenta. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright y'all, the first thing we're gonna do is make our tomato with roasted eggplant stew. So we're gonna roast the eggplant, we're gonna roast the red peppers, some garlic, and all that good stuff. So grab 2 large eggplants, you need 3 pounds, and we're gonna quarter them and then cut them into 3/4 inch chunks. But first, you're gonna grab 2 large baking pans, line them with parchment paper, and we're gonna set our oven to 450. These look like huge pieces, but you know, that's what we're doing. I know they're gonna shrink down a bit when they're roasting, so counting on that to happen. I love how light eggplant is. Like little pillows. All right, and then we're gonna take 2 red bell peppers. We're gonna stem these and get the seeds out. Didn't actually say how to cut these, so judging by the fact that we're supposed to brush these with olive oil a little bit later on, we're just gonna cut them in half. All right, we're gonna take a bulb of garlic and we're gonna remove as much of this skin as possible. We're not gonna do anything else with it. All right, now we're gonna take our 2 baking pans and we're gonna brush it with olive oil. And we're gonna put our eggplants on here and then lightly brush these with olive oil. Now you wanna make some room for the red peppers and the garlic. All right, now we're gonna put these in the oven for 25 minutes. And one thing they did mention is to make sure your racks are in the top and the bottom thirds of the oven. That way you have plenty of room for roasting. While our veggies are roasting, we're gonna go ahead and prepare our onion and our garlic because what else do we have to do? We're gonna cut our onions into thin half moons and our garlic. Yes, we have even more garlic. We're gonna mince this. "25 minutes is up. Let's take them out. All right. I'm gonna move that one down a little bit because I feel like the top one roasted a bit more than the bottom one, so it was probably a little too close to the burn. All right, now what we're gonna do is put these red peppers into a plastic bag or paper bag, whatever you got. We're gonna close it up because we want the skin to easily come off. They smell good too. Set these aside. Now, with the remainder, we're going to flip these and then we're brushing it with a little bit of oil if they look a little bit too dry. And they're going back in the oven for 15 more minutes. Now, while our veggies are roasting for the last time, we're going to preheat a soup pot on medium-high heat. We're going to throw in a tablespoon of olive oil, and we're going to throw in our onions and saute for about 10 to 12 minutes. All right, so the top rack of the eggplant is starting to get a little bit too brown for me, so I'm going to go ahead and take that out and leave the other pan in. Yeah, that's getting dangerously just too dark. All right, I think we're good to take our other pan out. All right, now once our onions are lightly browned, which they are getting, we're gonna add our garlic and saute that for about 2 more minutes. And then we're gonna add our white wine and all of our herbs. Our salt, tarragon, thyme, coriander, few pinches of black pepper, our paprika, and our bay leaves. All right, now we're gonna have a little fun with our can of tomatoes. You want the whole tomatoes, 28-ounce can. We're gonna grab each one out, and we're gonna give it a good squish before we put it in the pot. All right, we're gonna tear these up. And then we're gonna add the remaining liquid. All right, now's the time to add our eggplant. It's okay if you squish a few, but all right. We're gonna mix this up really well. Like I said, it's okay if you squish a few. And now's a good time to grab our roasted red peppers. We're gonna peel the skin off of these, and if they don't come off easily, then don't fret. Just leave them on there. We're gonna chop them into bite-sized pieces. Hear my eggplants boiling over there. Don't worry, I'm coming after you. I'll be over there, just a second. All right, we're gonna add this to the pot. And lastly, we're gonna add a can of chickpeas, drained and rinsed. And we're gonna lower the heat and simmer for about 20 minutes. And believe it or not, we did not forget about the garlic. We're gonna put this in after it's done simmering. You didn't think we'd do an easy recipe on our last video, did you? Once we're done simmering for about 20 minutes, we're gonna individually pop out each of these lovely lower roasted garlics. We're gonna give this a good stir. All right, now we're gonna turn off the heat, set it aside. I'm gonna put a lid on it. We're just gonna let it sit for as long as you can possibly let it sit. You're supposed to let the flavors kind of meld together a little bit, but we still have to make our polenta, so we're gonna start on that next. Fun fact! Paprika is considered the national spice of Hungary, and during harvesting time, many of the villages become a vibrant red color when the pepper used to make paprika is hung up on string outside and along fences. Paprika, surprisingly enough, has some sugar content, and depending on the variety, is richer in vitamin C than many citrus fruits. And although the plant to make paprika was grown in Hungary in the 16th century, it didn't make its way out west until the mid-1900s, making it a fairly modern spice. Now, this is gonna be a fairly easy recipe. So we're gonna grab a medium pot, and we're gonna add 5 cups of vegetable broth or water, along with a half a teaspoon of salt, and we're gonna bring this to a boil. Once we're boiling, we're gonna pour in our corn grits or our polenta in a nice and steady stream while mixing it. And then we're gonna add our poppy seeds and our olive oil. Lower this to a simmer, and we're gonna cook this for 12 minutes, stirring often. After the initial 12 minutes, we're gonna cover it, turn the heat off, and let it sit for about 10 minutes, stirring occasionally. But we're not done. I mean, you can be, but I'm not. I'm gonna chop up some parsley, just for a little extra garnish on top. Let's try it. All right, so I'm gonna try some of this stew first. It's comforting, it's creamy, it is super flavorful. Gotta try the polenta. It's really good. Tastes very similar to the broccoli polenta we made, just soft and not baked. It does have the poppy seeds in there. I'm not really sure they add much other than appearance and a little bit of, grit together. It's really good. It's really good. And if you like eggplant, like me, then you should definitely make this. It has a wonderful eggplanty flavor. A lot of people say eggplant doesn't have much flavor, and it depends on the spices that that you're cooking around it too. It does have a flavor on its own, but it is mild. Definitely has more flavor than tofu, in my opinion. But I'm an eggplant lover, and this is a great eggplant dish. All the roasted flavors are really coming through. I'm a pretty big fan of these. And with that, we're finished. So, a few words about the Veganomicon. I don't have much to say about this right now, other than the Veganomicon is a pretty great cookbook. This was a pretty awesome experience. And we are gonna actually do a review video of the whole cookbook, some issues that I had, my 10 favorite recipes, all that good stuff. But generally, it's an awesome cookbook, and you should get it. So if you're in the market to purchase this, I would say that you should spring for the new version, the 10th anniversary edition. Luke bought this for me a couple years ago, and it's definitely worth it to get this instead of the older one. There are a lot more pictures, it's a lot prettier. Some of the recipes are edited slightly, some of the ingredients are, and then there's a method or two here or there that's added or changed. But overall, it's pretty much the same cookbook. And apparently it has more recipes in it. Isa!